Now on Sunrise, the ongoing search for answers 1 year after a Kelso woman's disappearance. We hear from her family this morning. Plus, a community now rallying in support of a Beaverton man deported after 3 decades in the U.S. Your news starts now. Good morning, and thanks for getting up with us on this Saturday morning. I'm Libby Dowsett. We will get to your headlines in just a minute, but first, let's check in with Chris McGinnis here with us this morning.
Good morning, Libby. Off to a chilly start out there and a little breezy as well overnight. You probably noticed that.
The branches.
The leaves blowing around and whatnot, and the wind will subside a bit as we go through the day today. I think if we look, let me step out of the way real quick. From our Wells Fargo sky camera, you can see the flag atop of the Umpqua Bank building in downtown Portland. It's still flapping around a little bit, but the breeze should diminish as we go through the morning hours. Also, it looks like you can see 1 or 2 stars out there early this morning, so it's partly cloudy. Last check at PDX with a temperature of 46, and there's that breeze right now out at PDX anyway at 13 miles an hour. We had gusts 25 to 30 east side of town overnight, and obviously gustier than that out in the gorge. We'll look at that in a bit, but for now, we are seeing some broken cloud cover over the region. I don't know that we're going to see a ton of sunshine today. We'll call it filtered sun. Off to a chilly start depending on where you are. It's 46 at the airport, but we're in the mid-30s in the Willamette Valley. 37 right now in Salem, 35 in Eugene. So the plan for today, here's our forecast. We'll call it partly cloudy. Temperatures mid-morning in the low 40s. And then we're kind of in and out of the cloud cover. Filtered sunshine, I think we'll do it this afternoon with high temperatures inching into the low 50s. There's the outside chance of a sprinkle tonight. Otherwise, I think our weekend forecast is pretty uneventful, although I do have some frosty temperatures in my forecast for next week as we go back to work and school on Monday. More on that in just a few minutes, Libby.
Let's not talk about that yet. Thanks, Chris. This week marks 1 year since a Longview mother disappeared without a trace. On this somber anniversary, loved ones are vowing to keep searching for her, hoping for some comfort and closure. Alma McCarty has their story.
It's been a nightmare.
That feeling for 365 days.
So just having answers would just give us some peace to feel like we can move on. We can move forward.
Something Nicole Brooks says she hasn't been able to do since her daughter Haley Athey went missing last Thanksgiving.
She was always a little bit of a wild child. She just had a spirit that couldn't be tamed. You know, if you talk to anyone who knew Haley, Haley was a loving, fun, fiercely loyal friend.
As a friend and a mother, it wasn't like her not to check in, despite her struggles with mental health and addiction.
Haley never would have walked away from her children.
Which is why, after weeks with no contact, her family and friends filed a missing persons report with the Cowlitz County Sheriff's Office. Her family tells us that Haley was last seen in the Rose Valley area, and this is the spot that folks will meet up on Saturday morning to then go out and look for her. From here, the search party will head up into the hills.
You know, we've been pleading so much for people to come forward because in this area, if you look, at the horizon, all you see are hills. And the area is so vast that there's just no way to pinpoint specific areas, and that's what's been so difficult.
Both Nicole and Haley's stepdad, Jim, say they fear she might not be alive, but they will not stop trying to find her.
We don't know that she's gone, but we don't know where she is, and that's why our motto has been to bring Haley home. Regardless of the circumstances, she has 3 beautiful daughters that deserve to have the mother home.
In Cowlitz County, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Also this morning, a hiker is recovering from serious injuries after getting rescued in the gorge. Thursday, authorities say he went about a mile off trail near Ainsworth State Park. The ground gave way and he got caught in a small landslide. He fell down a 15-foot embankment and then large rocks came down on top of him. The 32-year-old was able to call for help. A number of teams were in part of that rescue, first carrying the man back to the trail, then wheeling him to an ambulance. He has several broken bones. We are told his injuries are not critical. In Washington, a rock slide along U.S. Highway 2 sent 3 people to the hospital earlier this week, including a child. The Washington State Patrol says the slide came down about 3 miles from Leavenworth. A boulder rolled across the highway and slammed into a car. Injuries were reportedly minor, and crews cleared the rocks away quickly. A Beaverton community is rallying to support a longtime resident who was recently detained and deported to Mexico. We are told Paulino Martin is an undocumented father of 3 who's lived in Oregon for more than 30 years, working in construction as a licensed handyman. His family says last week ICE agents stopped and detained Martin. Within 3 days, he was moved from Tacoma to Arizona and then deported to Mexico.
I mean, this was my worst nightmare growing up. Like, I've known about this since I've been 5, 6 years old, and it happened to me now. And I can only imagine if it happened to me when I was in high school. And that is happening for a lot of kids right now. There's a lot of families being broken, generational trauma that we're trying to negate.
The Department of Homeland Security has not yet responded to our questions about Martin's case. His family says they hope to find a way to bring him home while supporting others with similar cases. This morning, detectives in Woodburn are looking for the person who shot and killed a man. At about 4 a.m. Friday morning, police got a call about a shooting near Country Lane and Pana Street. When they arrived, they found a man dead at the scene. No word on what led up to the shooting or any suspect description. And in Vancouver, police are searching for a hit-and-run driver this morning. They are looking for this car, a white full-size Chevrolet van. Police say the driver hit a woman who was crossing the road at East Mill Plain Boulevard and Northeast 87th at about 10 last night. She was in a crosswalk. The woman had suffered serious injuries, but is expected to survive. The Oregon State Beavers wrap up their college football season today, but the school is already looking toward 2026. There's a new head coach in Corvallis. Here's Orlando Sanchez with what we know about the Beavers' big announcement.
The Oregon State Beavers naming Jamarcus Shepard the 33rd head coach in program history. According to ESPN, it's a 5-year contract. Shepard, 42 years old, was at Alabama the last 2 years. Bama's co-offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach. He's familiar with the Pacific Northwest, a former assistant at Washington and Washington State. This is his first head coaching job at this level. In a release, athletic director Scott Barnes called Shepard an exceptional leader who fosters a sincere connection with student athletes. Shepard said, quote, "We'll build a culture rooted in toughness, integrity, and relentless effort. I'm excited to get to work to write the next great chapter of Beaver football." An introductory press conference is scheduled for Tuesday.